Hey, wrestling fans. Welcome to the One Wing Wrestling Podcast, where we help you navigate the complex world of pro wrestling, bringing you the best matches, world-class wrestlers, and news you can count on. At One Wing Wrestling, we bring the elite to you. I'm your host, Krishna, and joining me, as always, is Mr. Bill Cuppush. Bill, how's it going?
It's going. I mean, look at the color on my cheeks right now. Sadly, this isn't on a video, but if
It's
you could
red.
see my cheeks right now, they're a bright, bright red color because of, being outside in the cold for my walk in the wind. So, yeah, now they're just very hot and very pink. It would be very amusing on video right now, I think. So, yeah, we definitely have gone into winter weather around
Oh,
here.
yes.
So,
Yes, we have.
yeah, we also decided to brave a mall one day on the weekend, and I guess it was Friday. And the afternoon wasn't too bad, but the minute the evening hit, you could just see the number of people in the mall escalate and escalate and escalate. And this is, yeah, so that was lots of fun too. But
Christmas
yeah,
season, man. Christmas season. I
Christmas
know we're going to the mall
season.
now. You go in the morning, you don't go at all. That's the way I look at it. If you're not
I,
going in the morning, just don't go.
I pick option B, don't go at all.
Mhm.
They have this thing called online shopping. It works really, really well.
Fair enough.
Yes. How was your weekend?
Good. I mean, we celebrated uh my cousin's birthday, 21 years old, a big 2-1. Besides that, didn't really do much. Just preparing for this upcoming Christmas season, right? So yeah, no, that's pretty much it. I haven't braved the malls yet. I did most of my shopping online. Um, I do have to go to the mall probably tomorrow, but the good thing is I'm off. So you know what? I'm gonna, as I said, go early or just don't go at all, right?
Exactly. You know
I'm
what's great?
definitely not going during the afternoon. So
Yep.
that's it.
Walmart, 7 a.m. Best time to
That's
be
it.
in Walmart.
That's it.
Seriously. Yep. Well, the one thing that continues during the holiday season is, of course, wrestling. And we do
That's
have
right.
some news stories to talk about this week. Do we want to get into our news segments?
Let's do it.
Okay. Well, as some of you are probably well aware, Mandy Rose was fired last week by WWE for essentially having a fairly explicit subscription-based fan site. It wasn't OnlyFans, it was something else. But according to the reports I've seen, what she was getting up to on there was pretty risque. If you want details of the whole story, look, the news is everywhere. What I want to talk about today, and maybe Krishna, you have other things around this to talk about. The question that I want to pose here, because we are really all about elite wrestling, right? And that starts with AEW, New Japan, Stardom, that sort of thing. Should AEW or any other larger company try to sign her when the likely 90-day no compete is up? What do you think?
Well, I think AEW, they don't need her, to be honest with you. Like there's nothing that I've seen from Mandy Rose, her wrestling, I should say, that's anything special. Well, according to the internet, her V trigger is the best, and Kenny should learn from her, which I think is the most ridiculous comment I've ever heard anyone make. Yeah. So, do I think she'd fit in AEW? No, not really, because I kind of feel like we have enough women who don't get showcased at all. So why would you bring somebody else in to just not showcase the actual talent? And when we go into the recap, I will talk about that a little bit. So yeah, no, I don't think she'd be a good fit here. Like most people who heard when the news broke, I was like, what did she get? Fired for? And like
Mm-hmm.
most guys, I said, wait, let me validate this information. So of course I validated it, saw the risque videos. Yeah, she had some stuff there that I don't think WWE would have liked, or AEW or any of those other companies, right? So I understand the firing, but the question of do you think she should be hired by one of the companies we watch? Probably not. I don't see it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you know what? I agree with you. I completely agree with you. She's not good enough, first of all, I
No.
think, look, I'm sure she's learned great personality and stuff like that in WWE. I haven't watched her wrestle in a very long time, and I have no inclination to watch her wrestle. To be honest, I have no inclination to watch her, period.
Yeah.
But, it is what it is. She got released for reasons that she didn't apparently uphold the corporate culture at WWE, which is fine because you know what? A wrestling company is allowed to state, because it is a private company, the activities in which the employees are allowed to get up to. That's fine. Um, If she chooses to do something else outside of those bounds, well, then she can risk her job. I have zero issue with what she's doing. She wants to do that, go right ahead. It is a free world. You can do whatever the heck you want. If that makes you money and you find it empowering, please do so. I have no issue with that at all. Um, but I don't want her anywhere near AEW. I don't want her anywhere near Stardom. I don't want her anywhere near New Japan. She's simply not a good enough wrestler for me to want her in those areas. And it sounds to me like she's quite happy right now just running her subscription service. Apparently, she jacked the price up the minute she was released from $25 to $40, so a month.
Well, you know what? Hey, if that's what she wants to do, then go
Yep,
ahead. If she's
exactly.
getting money, why not? Yeah, I agree. I don't feel like she is good enough a wrestler to be in AEW right now. So
Yep. Yep. So we will then move on to wrestlers who are good enough to be in AEW. I was reading in Meltzer's newsletter this week. He gave the Briscoes. This will be our first guess the stars of the day. We have another guess the stars coming. Briscoes versus FTR. I'm sure you've either read a summary, heard about the match by now, that sort of thing. Maybe even watched the match. I haven't watched it yet myself, but I've read a few summaries of it. What do you think it got for stars?
I'm gonna say that Meltzer gave it 5 stars.
Okay, you would be wrong. Meltzer gave it
What?
5.5 stars.
Wow.
Here are
Okay.
his
Okay.
comments. Okay. He called it one the best chain style match ever. Okay, like look, I'm sure the bar is not exactly very high on matches that involve chains, but best chain style match ever. And among the top tier tag matches ever. Ever.
I'm thinking that and listen, I'm not saying this wasn't that, but I'm
Mhm.
thinking Meltzer needs to change his rating system now because he keeps giving too many over 5 stars. Because if your rating goes to 5 stars and you keep giving over 5 stars, you need to change your system, even
Yes.
if it's like 6 or 7, whatever you want to do, right?
Exactly.
But I've heard good things about this match. I read about it too, and Meltzer's not the only person that said this is one of the best tag matches. Period. Right?
Right. He did note that if you're not into bloodbath matches, this match probably isn't for you. And then that makes me stop for a minute, right? I mean, Dax said, I don't know if you caught Dax FTR's promo on Rampage, the Dax Harwood talking about how he actually like busted up his butt.
He
Sounds
broke
like
his
he's
butt.
got like a
Yeah,
broken tailbone or
yeah.
something like that. Yeah. Ow. Um, yeah. So anyway, but this brings up the question: how much, how much weight should we be giving to like blood and guts style matches? I mean, how much of that is shock factor and how much of it is wrestling?
Well, I mean, it's like the same argument of like the Brit versus Thunder Rosa, right? Like we
Mhm.
had Sam when we watched their lights out match, it was probably one of the best like just women's matches in general
Mhm.
because of story and what these women did there, right? So listen, I like blood and guts matches when it makes sense, right?
Mhm.
And I guess in this one it did because like they've done everything kind of, right?
Right.
Now, yeah, we're not talking about the exploding barbed wire exploding death match or like some of the matches that Cody was having when he first started and Dustin where they're like just leaking blood
Mhm.
profusely. Um again, I didn't see the match. I did see the blood, but I didn't see anything dripping and you know what I mean? Like so I'm assuming that that didn't happen, but I think if it's controlled and it doesn't look like okay, that's the worst blade job I've ever seen in my life, then yeah, it's the ones that you see the blade jobs happening and you see the blood just flowing. You're kind of like, what's the purpose of this? Is this
Right.
that is right there is just shock value, right? But like these guys getting thrown into chairs and all the stuff that they were doing, it's pretty insane. Like again, I haven't watched the full match. I've seen clips of it, and from what I saw, it was absolutely nuts. So there's a place, but you're right. Like, at what point do we take like the shock values out of here? Like the Bucks and Lucha Brothers in the cage, right? That
Right.
that that was pretty bloody too, but not extremely bloody.
And it told a really good story again, right?
Yes,
So I
yes,
think that's the key. You mentioned it off the bat, right? Does the match tell a good story? If it's telling a good story, then whether it's blood and guts, whether it's lucha high flying, whether it's anything, the type of
it
match it
works.
is secondary to the storytelling. The
Correct,
storytelling
correct.
takes number one priority in any
Mhm.
match. Otherwise, it becomes a spot fest. right? Which I think is where you get blood and guts for the sake of blood and guts. I'm going to hit you with a fluorescent light tube, and everyone's going to go, oh, but there's no particular reason for me to be fighting you. We're just doing this because we both like to hurt each other.
Yep.
Yeah. And that, to me, that's the kind of hardcore match I don't enjoy.
That was that was like the Mox Kenny lights out match, right? It was like
Mm.
you're using Kenny for this match. Like, yeah, he's the god of wrestling, but I don't want to see him get hurt in something like this.
That was your problem. You just had too much anxiety during
I
that
did.
match.
I don't want to see I'm so over thumbtacks and stuff like that. It was just it's so unnecessary these days, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like yeah, do these other moves, dude. Like think about the ladder matches that go crazy. Like those ones are like the shock I like. I don't like the oh my god, there are thumbtacks in the ground. Let's drop someone on it. Let someone walk on it. It's like
Right.
no, guys, stop. This is too much.
Shards of broken glass. Yeah.
Yeah, no, no,
Yeah.
no, too much.
Yeah, I'm not thrilled with that kind of stuff either. So yeah, we definitely need to check this match out before the year end, before our year end rewards. If it's as good
Yeah,
as everyone's saying it is, definitely got to watch it before then.
agreed.
So it's on my to-do list before the end of the year. Another quick update: Mercedes Vernado, Sasha Banks. There is now apparently in her contract or in her arrangement with New Japan, there is actually a date for Stardom,
Hmm.
and this will be
Hmm.
taking place sometime in April. The company has planned for its biggest show. The company had planned for the biggest show in its history, apparently, and it's going to be announced on December 29th at their Stardom Dream Queendom annual show at the end of the year. So we'll see what happens. Stardom apparently believes that with her massive Instagram and Twitter following, it's going to draw a ton of eyes to their product. They're probably not
Not a bad
wrong.
thing. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's not a bad thing because if people actually find Stardom,
Hmm.
I
Smart
mean,
move.
it is amazing wrestling.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
smart move.
Yeah, bring her in, have her do a couple matches, and if she's not happy, she'll just quit anyway because that's how she rolls. And no offense, Mercedes. I do love your wrestling, but twice she's quit.
Oh, you
So
love wrestling, eh? When we get to Denise Dirt Sheet, I have something for you there.
oh, okay. Cool. Yeah, the funny part was apparently Meltzer reported that she won't be using the name Sasha Banks in Japan, of course.
Obviously.
And the talks of her actually going there only came to fruition recently. She
Oh,
actually contacted, apparently, Rossi Ogawa, who is the founder and CEO of Stardom, not the owner now. Bushiroad owns it. He's the guy who got put in the casket during the match. Um, but her asking price was way beyond anything Stardom could pay her.
hmm.
So it was just like it was a non-starter. It's like, yeah, I'd like to come work for you. And he's like, well, how much? This much? No,
No.
no. Have a nice day. Anyway, so speaking of denies dirt sheet, what do you got for me?
So one thing, and actually it disclosed well right in Sasha Banks. Um, reports are that WWE actually did not resign Sasha Banks because they didn't think she was worth the money. Now, you know I hate siding with WWE sometimes, but now that I'm hearing some of these asking prices, I'm like, is she really worth this much money? But Sasha Banks was actually asking for money in the, I guess, the range of Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair, like in the, I guess, the 1 million range. WWE would not even come close to that. So they just thought that she was, from what I read, she was a good wrestler to have a like a good singles run and also a tag run, but not like a very long run. So they had no faith in. I was like, whoa, again,
Mm-hmm.
it's what I've been hearing. So this is why they didn't sign her. Now this could be because Sasha Banks has now come out and said that she's signing, well, contract wise with Stardom. The good news is they didn't freeze her contract, so you know it's not like they were gonna say you left and whatever. It's like she's
Mm-hmm.
gone. So as of January, but yeah, they're saying that she's just not good enough for them to sign at that price.
Well, comparing her to Charlotte Flair and saying that is certainly something. Yeah. Anyway, Becky Lynch is very
She's
good.
good. Becky
She's
Lynch is awesome.
very good. Yes. So, yeah, does this have any basis in fact? We don't know. Again, I know I say this all the time because they're rumors, right? We don't know because no one's actually come out and said it.
Mhm.
I saw some of these rumors myself about, oh, she's just not worth the money. She may not be to
Mhm.
WWE, right? Because they already have talent that's got 5.6 million Instagram followers. There isn't a single talent on Stardom that comes
Mhm.
close to
Yeah.
those numbers in terms of like media influence. So I could see her for one-offs being worth it just to pay her per appearance to bring her in and do a few matches. Right? I mean, they clearly can't afford to sign her long term, but with the return on investment you might get from just bringing her in a few times, right? Kind of like the same thing that New Japan did with Chris Jericho there for a while, right? Though he was apparently being paid like percentage wise. He came out and clarified how he was being
Yeah, yeah,
paid
yeah,
this
yeah,
week by
yeah,
New
yeah.
Japan and then pointed out that he made more at New Japan than he did at most WrestleManias. So
Yeah, yeah, and that's it, right? So, but do you think, because there's a guy who talks about his big pockets a lot, do you think Tony Khan would be willing to pay up for Sasha Banks?
I hope not, because I see her as CM Punk too.
Yeah,
Right. I
that's
mean,
what same thing.
she'll draw a lot of people in, but one, she's WWE, which
Hmm.
immediately just sounds like he's signing yet another released WWE talent. Please stop
Hmm.
doing that, Tony. Two, she has a reputation. Is it deserved or not? I don't know. Again, it's just a reputation. But
Yeah,
what we do know factually is she did walk out on WWE, just left because she wasn't happy with the way she was being booked.
yep.
Lord knows there are lots of people in AEW not happy with the way they're being booked.
Hmm. Hmm.
Not everyone can be at the top. Not everyone can be the marquee. And the minute she's not the marquee, what happens? Does she
Yeah.
quit? Does she
Yep.
decide this isn't good enough for Sasha Banks? I don't know. I don't know her personally, so I have no idea what goes through her head.
Hmm.
But we do know she has walked out.
Yep. That's been proven. She's done it
Yes,
multiple
exactly.
times.
So do we want that in AEW when we finally,
No,
I think, have a locker room that seems to be back to normal?
stable locker room. Yeah,
Yes,
agreed. The answer is
exactly.
no. We don't want it. We don't need that.
Precisely. You got anything else for me on
That's
that
it.
dirt
That's it
sheet?
for that's it.
Okay. Well, let's get on to talking about really good wrestling. So we have our AEW Roundup this week. What you got for us tonight?
Well, let's start with some rampage from Elevation from last week. We had a couple of good matches on there. Someone I want to call out. I want to call out first off, Willow Nightingale versus Vert Vixen. Never heard of Vert Vixen before, but apparently she's been on Dark before. I'd never seen her. Good exchange. It was a fast match. Vert did some really cool like combination moves, which for some women, and not some, I shouldn't say some women, some wrestlers in general couldn't pull it off. Like just like this one slam she did into like a, it was like she kind of hit Willow in the knee, then grabbed her and did like almost a face slam like immediately. It was like wow, that was such a quick succession there. Willow obviously came out on top, and watching Willow wrestle, she reminds me like she wrestles like a big body wrestler, right? They have their
Mhm.
move set and like almost like a Tony Storm if you want to compare. But she's more fluid than Storm is, right? And she does a lot more things easily. And that's what I want to point out. These two, they just gelled well with each other. There was no like stalls or mistakes. It just good match. Just it was quick. Check it out. Um, Up next, Best Friends versus Zach Clayton and Zane Valero.
Oh, I
I
saw
had
that one.
seen I had seen Zach Clayton before. I remembered him. Just playing the heel shtick. Like it was good. Like you see the Best Friends are awesome tag team partners, and Clayton and Zane were doing well until Clayton obviously left and abandoned Zane together. I just love the ending where they gave Zane the hug because he needed it after being abandoned. Oh, the Best
Yeah,
Friends
that
are
was
so
great.
awesome. They may or may not appear on my list again.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
The Zach Clayton stuff. I love his
I like
shtick.
it.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
quite good. He's good in the ring. He's solid. I wouldn't call him
Hmm.
like amazing or anything like that, but
But he plays that role. Yeah,
and yeah,
good.
he plays it very well. He's very arrogant. And I love the way that he got into that with his tag partner, and the tag partner wanted it, and he was like, "No, you need to stay out in the apron.
Yeah.
I've got
Yeah.
this." And the tag partner tagged himself, and he was just like, it was one of those kind of things where he was just like, "Okay, forget you. I'm out of here."
Yeah, no, it was a fun match. It was a fun
Yeah, it
match. I
was.
mean, it wasn't as fun as the final match. Ari Davari, and the Varsity Athletes versus Cutler, and for some reason, Chaos Project,
Oh, that was great.
right? I mean, this was great. This match was fun. Like, if you want a comedy match, like Cutler has totally like embraced this shtick of like he's the lackey of the elite, but he totally loves it. And like just the cold spray and this was just a fun match to watch. It's like a palate cleanser. It was just so much fun, and like you just laugh through the entire thing. It was just this, and I'll talk about another match in a second. Just entertaining matches right
Hmm.
from the beginning.
Oh
Fun
yeah, no,
match
I
if you have a
agree.
chance.
I
Yeah,
laughed a few times in the match.
yeah.
Brandon Cutler is awesome.
He's so good. He's like, I'm
Yes.
glad he's embraced this. He's so good. I don't like the I'm a little serious. I'm going to try to win. No, I like the funny Brandon Cutler. Like he's just having fun. So that was my elevation. Dark. I've said a couple times, I haven't been a big fan of Kip Sabian's return. I
Mm.
still don't like his shtick, but I said his wrestling seemed a bit off. If you have a chance and you haven't watched Dark, check out Sabian versus the guy's name is Tony Deppen.
Hmm.
And I want to give Tony Deppen a shout out because there was a spot right at the beginning of the match where he gets Kip into a wrist lock,
Hmm.
and Kip tried like maybe 6 or 7 things to get out, but Deppen just kept getting it on him. I was like, wow, this is pretty impressive. Like he just wouldn't let go. And then the back and forth exchange. Yeah, Kip again. He's I didn't like his wrestling when he returned, but I feel like he's getting back into a groove now. Like some of the moves he was doing, like that launch that he did the drop kick from the ropes. I'm like, how did he hit that drop kick? Holy! And it was perfect. Absolutely perfect. So I'm glad we're getting our wrestling Kip Sabian back because I wasn't
Hmm.
really feeling again his new thing. I just don't get it,
Yeah.
don't understand it. But
Yeah. And you're right about Deppen. Deppen's really good. Yeah,
oof,
good
really,
technical
really good.
wrestler. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So really good. If you want to see like check this guy out, he's really really good. Um, then I put down Slim J and Jeeves K. That's right. Those
Hmm.
are their name. The Trustbusters versus Kingston and Ortiz. And I was actually very impressed with Slim J in this match. Holy crap. Like I hate his gimmick. I hate the Jeeves K gimmick of he's a butler. But these guys were really good. Like their tag team moves that they were doing. There was this one where it looked like Jeeves K was he put Slim J, hate these names, up
Hmm.
on like up to do like a power bomb, but then Slim J grabbed I think I want to say it was not it wasn't Kingston, it was Ortiz. And they did almost like a reverse slam where he kind of threw him up and it was crazy. And there were so many like just there were a few lucha things that I liked in here, obviously.
Hmm.
And just watching the Eddie Kingston because he's not about that. He's all about hard hitting. And he just rips off Slim J's tank top and just give him a smack right in the chest. It was a fun match. It was a fun match. Like again, Slim J and GUSK surprised me. Like they're pretty good. Their gimmick is stupid as hell, but they're pretty good wrestlers, right?
Yeah,
And there's
Trustbusters
something
won't be
happening.
winning any Gimmick of the Year award.
No, and there's something happening with Ortiz and Kingston
Yeah, no,
right
it's
now.
been going
So
on for a
I'm
while.
watching
I
that.
mean, it's the whole,
Yeah.
Kingston being super violent and being aggressive,
Yes.
and Ortiz like not appreciating that very much because it's costing them matches occasionally or just after the match, and he's
Exactly.
Kingston's become
Exactly.
hard to control. Yeah.
Yeah. So they kind of played up with that. But this one, like Ortiz kind of just like waved it off and just walked away, kind of thing. So that was dark. And then Rampage, man, Sammy versus Mox.
Hmm.
Oh my God. You know, I always say I really like the way Mox has changed, and there's always been wrestling matches recently that have been like, man, Mox has looked really good. And then there's someone who were like, oh, Mox is not looking that great. It looks like the old type Mox. This match, my God, did Mox look good because Mox sold. Sammy sold in this match. That flip Sammy did off the top rope to outside on top of the table. Like, this guy's nuts. Like, Sammy Guevara, like, fans, you can hate him. Sammy Guevara is elite. Let me just
Yep.
remind you of that. Sammy Guevara is friggin' elite to the point where, like, it didn't matter. Everything Mox was trying to do, Sammy countered it. Sammy did the friggin' Death Rider, then the
Hmm.
Swanton bomb.
Yep.
I was like, what is happening? And like, I love this match. It was hard hitting. And listen, Sammy took licks, but like, yo, he kept coming back and he kept attacking. That's why I'm like, yo, Sammy Guevara, he is absolutely amazing. So this match, absolutely love this match. Absolutely love this match. If you can check it out, check out this match. So yeah, if you have a chance.
Oh,
And then
100%.
I
Yeah.
like the Mox calling out Hangman at the end of it. I
Yeah.
said I told you where I was gonna be. Hangman come. I love how they cut at the end. Like they're just fighting and fighting and fighting. That's pretty cool. Um,
Yep. Yeah,
but
that
yeah,
match was
yeah,
incredible.
right?
Incredible. Yeah,
Amazing.
it was like the moves. Sammy is just like you said, he's so good. And the crowd
So
knows it,
freaking
right?
yeah,
Like the
yeah,
crowd knows it. Even like
yeah,
every time he does something amazing, then you think it's just a chant, you still suck, meaning
yeah,
that was amazing, Sammy.
yeah.
Way to go.
Yep.
But you still suck. Yeah.
This is
Now
like
the
yeah.
whole match was great. The story in the match was great
Mm-hmm.
too, right? I mean, it was all like Mox getting his ear ripped and the blood
Yep.
was everywhere. And Sammy was just like the whole thing where he's licking the blood off his hand and
It's
then he
gross.
kisses Ty with the blood. And it was just, oh my God, people, seriously. Anyway.
And the last match of this week, I'm giving a shout out to the best friends and Dustin Rhodes versus the Butcher and Blade, Trent Seven and Kip Sabian match. Again, Kip Sabian great in this match. Trent Seven fantastic. People are gonna say, you know what, Krishna, you like spot matches that have all. Yeah, I do like matches that have nothing but spots in them. I agree with you. This match was so much fun. Like everyone was doing stuff. Like one of the funniest things was when the bunny jumped in and then Orange Cassidy acted like he got kicked in the nuts, and then the referee turned his back and was talking to the bunny, and then Penelope Ford walks in. Danhausen stops her and then pretends he got kicked in the nuts. and,
The ref turns around. He's like,
and
what
they
the
just
hell?
and then he ejects them both. And the ref's like, "What are you doing in the ring?" I thought I actually laughed
Uh,
out loud for that one. I'm like, it's
yeah.
so ridiculous, but it's so good. Like as we know, Dustin Rhodes may be done wrestling very soon,
Hmm.
but man, does he look good sometimes. Like this match, he looked good. Like he was just executing, and kudos to everyone in the ring with him. Like they helped him because we said like part of wrestling is selling, and these guys all sold well. And I had fun with it. It was fast. It was I wouldn't say hard hitting, but it was fast. Everything, all the moves were like spot on. This guy Trent Seven, I think I've seen him on Dark before, but he was really good.
I don't think you have seen him on Dark. Where you've seen him is NXT or NXT UK. He's been around for quite a while.
Was his name Trent Seven there?
Yes, that's his
Oh,
name.
okay, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe then,
Yeah.
maybe you're right.
So he's no, he's quite good. He was in a tag team with a really young guy that was in NXT UK as well. They were like they both had mustaches.
Hmm.
Do you remember this at all? Because I
Yes,
know I've
yes.
watched matches with them with you.
Okay, okay. Then yes, I think I remember. Yes,
Hmm.
but no, but yeah, he was great. He was absolutely great in this
Yeah.
match, and this match was well again. Rampage was great. Like I mean, this was it was a good show. These two matches obviously blew it away,
Hmm.
but like yeah, no. If you have a chance, check out these matches.
Yep.
They're really really fun.
I'm just waiting for you in like a week or two now to be telling me that the best match of the week, the match of the
Was
week
it
was
dark
on
match?
Dark.
Of course,
Yeah.
Kenny Omega. I mean, I heard Kenny Omega maybe on Dark or something like that, but I don't know who he's taking on. Some Shingo, some guy. I don't know who he's taking on. But he's like, but yeah, Kenny Omega. I already
Yep.
know what the best
Dark.
match is gonna be.
I know it's like they will be drawing eyes to a YouTube show to watch Kenny Omega. That's
Oh,
great.
Kenny.
Oh, Kenny Omega is so great. Yep. Oh, one quick shout out. I did enjoy the Britt Baker and Sky Blue match on Rampage as well.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good match. I agree. It just that match again just shows how much Sky has actually progressed from
Hmm.
when we first saw her wrestling, because we saw her wrestling from the beginning basically,
Yep.
right? She looked good.
Yep.
But come on, man, it's Britt. Come on, it's Britt.
Yeah.
She was gonna take that match
Of
like
course.
so
Oh,
quickly,
wait.
so I knew it.
Oh, come on. It was Chris Jericho. He was going to beat Action Andretti,
that
right?
that but it was Action Andretti, right? So I mean like that listen, as you said, the shocker of the week has to
Yes.
still be Jericho losing to Action Andretti.
Yes. Yeah. And as point of interest too, you note he's now been signed. Action
Yep.
Andretti is
Of
all
course.
elite.
Of course. Of course, dude. There was no way he was gonna beat Jericho and then this Tony Khan was being like, yeah, you know what? It's okay. We're not signing you. Or we're not gonna sign this guy, but he's gonna beat Chris Jericho.
Oh,
No,
did you
there's
hear
no
the
way.
story behind it, eh? Did you hear the
No.
longer version? Okay, so apparently Jericho um, saw this guy wrestle on Dart, the match you pointed out. He
Mhm.
saw him wrestle that match, and he went, "This guy is a star." and he came up with the whole idea to do it like the old Razor Ramon 1-2-3 Kid
Yeah,
thing,
yeah,
where
yeah.
1-2-3 Kid gets the win on Razor,
Mhm.
right? But they didn't have time for it at that point. So like basically
Oh,
Action Andretti went off and did his thing, and then when they finally had time in Chris Jericho's schedule to actually do the match in a way that made sense, they gave him a call, brought him in, and they did the match. All right, and
awesome.
it was Jericho's idea once he saw the guy. So like that's super
Chris
classy.
Jericho is so cool, man. He's
Yep.
so cool.
No, he really is. He is one of the greatest of all
Yeah.
time. Yep. So yeah, I thought that was really interesting. So that's AEW, and now we will take a very long plane trip across the Pacific Ocean to Japan, where I'm going to talk quickly about the New Japan Tag League Finals that happened on December the 14th. So the Super Junior final was Yo and Leo Rush taking on Chris Bay and Ace Austin. This was a good match. There was a story in it essentially where Austin and especially Bay were taunting Rush, trying to get him to enter the ring, lose his cool. I mean, he's an emotional hothead, right? So that was the whole thing during this was he's an emotional hothead, and they're really kneeling him, taunting him, getting under his skin, getting him to run in the ring, right? And this escalated for a good chunk of the match. And of course, it builds up to the big spot where Rush gets the hot tag against Bay and just goes nuts on him, right? The end was a good build too, because like it was hard to see the end coming because one team would get momentum and hit a bunch of like double team moves and impact moves, and it would flip to the other team, and it was really also both teams capitalizing on each other's mistakes. Right, like there were moments near the end of the match where they both teams started to make errors, hitting their own partner with a big move or something like that, right? And it was just whichever team essentially got to that point first. It was there were a lot of great moves. Yo hit a Falcon Arrow on Bay on the floor that looked awesome at one point, but Yo eventually got the pin on Austin with a direct drive, which is basically the Death Rider, and that was the end of the match. So Yo and Leo Rush now win the Super Junior Tag League, and they will go on to face TJP and Francesco Akira at Wrestle Kingdom. So this match, I would have given Meltzer gave it 3.75 stars. That's about where I would give it as
Okay.
well.
Okay. Fair enough.
Recommended match. It's kind of like I'll put it in terms you would understand. This is like watching Young Bucks and Lucha Brothers, except they brought in their B or C understudies to wrestle the match. Like, and that what that means though is like to be the understudy, you still got to be really
Is he
good.
good? Good. Yeah.
These guys are not Bucks and Lucha Brothers,
Yeah.
but they're very good. Recommended match. Both,
Mhm.
honestly, I want to see more Austin and Bay. These
Okay.
guys are
Okay.
great. They're an Impact right now, and they're members of the Bullet Club. So, yeah, they have attitude for days. Apparently, they've only tagged 5 times together before they came to the tag league. So, I'd really like to see them stick around together more. Bay has like a bit of a Swerve Strickland vibe to him in a way. That would be a tag team that would be amazing. Is Swerve and Chris Bay. It
Okay.
would be incredible. So yeah, I would suggest checking this match out. And then in the other side, the World Tag Lead Final, we had Yoshihashi and Hiroki Goto taking on Aussie Open. Now, before I saw this match, I had seen a tweet online that had a picture of Aussie Open with the trophies. Now, I misunderstood that this meant that they won the match. So I thought I'd
Oh.
already had the results spoiled. I'm like, all right, Aussie Open, FTR, Wrestle Kingdom. This is going to be great. Then I watched this match.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, match was actually pretty good. I mean, Aussie
Okay.
Open were the highlights for me, but there was a decent back and forth. I mean, both Yoshihashi and Goto can wrestle well, right? I mean, that's the one thing about New Japan. It doesn't matter if you're always going to get decent. Well, oh wait, let me drop that for a second. You will usually get decent wrestling in New Japan. So anyway, Fletcher at one point was put through a table with a GTR from Goto off the ring apron. Yoshihashi reversed the Coriolis into a Canadian destroyer near the end. They finished Fletcher with a Shoto, which was essentially an aided neck breaker by Yoshihashi, and then a lariat by Goto, and then another double team. It was actually a good match. It was a good back and forth. Both teams were hard hitting in it. It's I think it's tough to have a bad match with Aussie Open. So I thought I would have given it 3.75 stars, probably on par with the other one, just due to the story. Meltzer gave it 4 stars. He liked it better than the Super Junior one. I would have to disagree with that. I was hard pressed to say which one was really better, but I think that you'd probably like the Super Junior one a lot better. This one was more of a hard hitting type wrestling match. So now I'm going to turn to. So now that also means, by the way, we're getting Yoshihashi and Hiroki Goto versus FTR at Wrestle
FTR.
Kingdom. Yeah. So we're now going to play a little game that we've already played once today, but this one's a little different. This is called Guess the Stars. The match that happened on the 14th is
Mhm.
Karl Anderson defending his never open weight championship against Hikuleo. Okay. Karl
Hikuleo.
Anderson wins the match.
Okay.
Now, so he retains the never open weight championship and will defend it again at Wrestle Kingdom against Tama Tonga. So, given those two people, Hikuleo is not going to be winning any Wrestler of the Year awards anytime soon. He's kind of slow. He wrestles well, like he's kind of got that big guy style. And you've seen Karl Anderson wrestle. What did Meltzer give this match? I realize I'm not giving you much to go on. Long silence. He's thinking about it.
Sorry, can you hear the construction behind me?
No, I actually can't.
Oh, cool. So I will say, despite the people you've told me, Karl Anderson versus Hikuleo,
Hikuleo.
I'm gonna say 2.5 stars.
2.5 stars. Dude, you gave them too much credit.
No, I gave them too much credit because I assumed that maybe Meltzer likes them more than I do. But what do you want to know what I would have really given them?
Yes.
I would have given them 1 star.
Okay. You came closer to Meltzer with the 1 star than you did with the 2.5. Meltzer gave it 1.5 stars. Okay.
Where it belongs.
Here's what he said. This is a quote. This may have been the weakest singles title match in New Japan in years, and
No.
that includes Houses of Torture. Now that's saying something. I honestly couldn't believe it when it was over. Okay. It was terrible. This match
Wow.
sucked.
Well, okay,
Karl
but
Anderson, you are the
yeah.
most overrated wrestler I have seen in a very long time. This
Ouch.
match was then just this gets even better. Tama
Mm,
Tonga comes out because Hikuleo is part of his faction, right?
mhm,
Tama Tonga
mhm.
comes out at the end and he brawls with Karl
Anderson?
Anderson because he wants the next shot at that never open weight championship. Karl Anderson lays him out and then accepts the challenge. Now, what's the point of this? You already laid the dude out.
I don't know. Karl Anderson, you belong in WWE. Like, what are you doing? Come on, New Japan. What are you thinking?
I don't know
Um,
what they're thinking. Do they really think that you're going to attract eyes to this other than people who want to watch terrible wrestling?
Maybe they think that because Karl Anderson is now part of WWE, he'll bring some more eyes to New Japan. I don't know, man. Like the minute you said that, I was closer with the 1 star rating. Yeah, that's what I expected. Like
Mhm.
both these guys, like Karl Anderson is average at best. I've seen Hikuleo fight. He's slower, right? He's not.
Yes.
He's a big guy. So putting
Yep.
those two together, you're kind of like, okay, what am I getting here, right?
Yep.
So 1.5, 1.5. Okay, sure.
Yep.
I'm glad that I didn't have to watch that match.
Yeah, no, I'm also glad you did not have to. I'm watching the bad matches so that you don't have to. Hikuleo
God.
does well in a tag team. Okay, like he's the kind of guy who's like the big guy you bring in to do some big spots in a tag match, right? Like your muscle on a tag team or a trios, right? He does that really well. And he probably would wrestle really well against a guy who can call a good match, right? Like you put him against a Moxley or someone like that, I'll bet you'd have a really good match. You put him against Karl Anderson, and it's exactly what you get 1.5 stars.
Deservingly,
Congratulations.
guess 1.5 stars. Okay,
Well, after the 14th, the card is now set for Wrestle Kingdom, and now comes game number 2. Are you ready?
let's go.
We're calling this one Measure the Hype. I am going to note down what your hype level is from 1 to 10 for these matches because we're going to
Okay,
watch Wrestle
okay,
Kingdom, right?
okay, okay.
Yep. We will be watching Wrestle Kingdom. So I want to know your hype for these various matches on a scale of 1 to 10. When you've given me yours, I'll let you know mine, and then we will review after we've reviewed Wrestle Kingdom, and we can see if your hype met or the matches met the expectations of your hype.
Okay,
You ready?
go.
Okay,
Yep,
here we go. Opening match.
yep.
Ryohei Oiwa versus Bolton Oleg in an exhibition match.
Hype level.
Oiwa is a young lion.
Okay, hype level. You know what? I'm gonna go average. I'm gonna say hype level 5.
Okay. I gave it 7. And I'll tell you
Oh,
why I gave it 7 because I really like Ryohei Oiwa. I
okay.
think he's very good and I think it'll be a solid young lion style match.
Okay.
Okay. Then the next opening match, it's the what do you call it? The King of Pro Wrestling 2023 New Japan Rambo match. Rambo is Rumble. So it's a Rumble style match.
Rumble style with the New Japan guys. You know what? Let's go with a 6 for this one.
Okay, I gave it a 5.
Okay, so you went lower. Okay,
I
all
went
right.
even lower. I have like no hype for this match. Yeah, it's well, I mean that doesn't mean no hype. It just means
Yeah, you leave it or take it, right?
yes, exactly. And then the next matchup is the Antonio Inoki Memorial Six-Man Tag. We have Togi Makabe, Satoshi Kojima, Yuji Nagata taking on Tetsumi Fujinami, Minoru Suzuki, and Tiger Mask.
To say Tiger Mask,
Tiger Mask, yes.
I'm gonna give this one a 6 as well. I'm gonna go with a
Okay.
6 for this one.
I gave it a 4. I do not have high hopes for this match being anything other than a semi-slow, hard-hitting, admittedly, match. Now,
Okay,
maybe the match will be really good, but my hype for it is very
it is
low.
not there.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
Okay.
trying. I'm trying to give myself some hype, so because I don't know most of these guys. So I'm gonna. You know what? I'll give them benefit of the doubt. I'll try to be hyped for this match.
Okay. Well, they're all solid. There's
Yeah,
nothing wrong with these. Most of them are old. Um, IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Title match. Friends Francesco Akira and TJP defending against Leo Rush and Yo.
this will probably be one of the matches I'm more excited for because it's it's a Lucha Styles match. Obviously,
Yes.
I'm gonna say let's give this one an 8.
Okay. I gave it a 9. I'm very much looking forward to this, but that's
Okay.
also because I know these guys.
Yeah.
IWGP Women's Title. Kairi defends against Tom Nakano.
I'm gonna give this one a 8 as well because I like Kyrie.
Okay.
Kyrie Sane as I call her.
You will
But
also like Tom Nakano
Tom
after
Nakano.
this
Okay,
match.
there you
That's my
go.
prediction.
8.
I gave it an 11 out of 10.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Fair
That's
enough.
how hyped I am for this match. I cannot
All
wait to
right.
see these two go at it. It's going to be great. IWGP Tag Team. I'm now using the stars
The
rating.
Meltzer
Yeah,
star
I've got the
rating.
Meltzer star rating system for my out of 10 hype.
Well, I was gonna use that as well for when I got the certain match, but
Oh
we'll
yeah,
get there.
exactly. Yep, yep. So IWGP Tag Team titles. FTR defends against Yoshihashi and Hiroki Goto.
FTR they never really put on a bad match. The problem is I don't know about Goto and the other guy, right? So
Yoshihashi.
yeah. So then I do feel like FDR is gonna lose. But um you know what? Let's go with no, let's go with an 8. I was going between
Ooh.
7 and 8, and let's go with an 8.
Wow, you're way more hyped for this match than I am. I gave it a 6.
I love FDR. I just love FDR. They're so cool.
Yeah, I think that's where it is. I mean, I like FTR.
Oh, okay.
Yes. I
Fair
don't
enough.
think they're
Fair
like
enough.
the most amazing thing ever in tag
No,
wrestling. I just like them. I think they've had a wonderful year.
they
I
have.
respect them. I really like them. I just don't love them.
All right.
NJPW World TV title for a company that doesn't really go on TV. Ren Narita versus Zack Sabre Jr. to determine the first ever champion.
So I really like Zack Sabre Jr. Like I really think he's a good wrestler. I don't know about Ren Narita. Have I seen this person before?
You've heard me talk about him
Yeah, I've
multiple
heard you
times
talk
as
about
being
this person, but I
amazing.
don't
Yes.
think if he's so. Based on that, let's go with because I've kind of been giving them all the same type of rating. Let's go with an 8 because I do really like Zack Sabre Jr. And if Ren Narita can hold up his side, this can be a great match.
Yep. I also gave it an 8. I am very
Okay.
much looking forward to this match.
Okay.
Next up, we have the never open weight title. Karl Anderson defending against Tama Tonga.
1.
Yeah, I also gave it a
We
1.
can't give 0, so I'm gonna give 1.
Exactly. I also gave it a 1. This is where we will have food, take
Washroom
a bathroom
breaks. Yeah.
break. Yes, exactly. Um, then we have Keiji Muto, and this is the Great Muta, but in his normal self, Keiji Muto. Okay. In probably his last New Japan match with Hiroshi Tanahashi and Shota Umino taking on Tetsuya Naito, Sanada, and Bushi.
Uh, Again, I know that a lot of these guys are big in Japan, but I'm not the biggest fan. So let's go with a 7. I'm gonna give them
Okay.
benefit of doubt. Let's go with a 7.
Yeah, and that's probably good because I gave it an 8, and I'll tell you why. Tetsuya
Okay.
Naito,
Mhm.
amazing in the ring. I've seen him
Okay.
fight Will Ospreay. The guy is amazing. Sonata, very good. Bushi, very, and I mean good in the sense of guys that do your style of wrestling too,
Nice.
right?
Nice.
They are quick. They can move. Bushi and Sonata are both junior heavyweights. I believe Sonata is. I know Bushi is for sure. I've seen Bushi constantly in the tournament when he was partnering with Titan. Shota Umino, we've seen him multiple times,
Yes.
right?
Yes, we have. I like him.
Now,
He's good.
I mean, Keiji Muto in his time, one of the greatest innovators in pro wrestling. He has holds named after him.
Yeah.
Okay. So, one of the greatest innovators. Of course, this is his retirement
Yeah.
series. So, he's up there now. And Hiroshi Tanahashi, as we know, he's also getting, pushing towards the end. He's
Mhm.
slowing down a little, but, he's always a good showman. So, you've got one side that has Shota Umino and the other side that's got three really good guys. So, I'm looking forward to it. An 8. I think we're gonna get to, I mean, Shota Umino against any of those three guys on the other
Awesome.
side. That's gonna be great. I'm so glad they added him to this match. Then the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title match. Taiji Ishimori defends against Hiromu Takahashi, El Desperado, and Master Wato in a 4-way match. This is your Super Junior guys.
So fast
Yeah,
and
this is your like all of these guys. I can tell you straight up,
mhm.
they're all if not at least capable of lucha things, use them regularly.
Okay, so I'm gonna give this an 8 then, because these guys fight my style of wrestling.
Yes, I also gave it an 8. So, yes, because I am also very much looking forward to this match. Then, the second last match of the night, the IWGP United States title. Will Ospreay defends against Kenny Omega.
Was your second last match here? Because I'm pretty sure it's the last match of the night. Yeah, 15 out of 10. I think is me being very modest about this match. It's definitely like it's what I'm looking forward to. Like that's this is it. This
Yep.
is it.
Yeah,
Right?
this is
If
one of
this
them. 100%,
if this
100%.
doesn't deliver, then this entire pay-per-view is ruined for me. So this is it.
The entire pay-per-view is wrestling is ruined forever if this match doesn't deliver. Yeah, I gave it a 42 out of 10. So yeah, I
Yeah,
am I
okay.
am
Okay.
beyond
See,
hyped for this
yeah,
match.
yeah,
Yep.
agreed.
This match is going to be perhaps the greatest match of all time in any wrestling promotion ever.
Yeah.
And then we have trying to follow that on the stage, the IWGP World Heavyweight title. Jay White defends against Kazuchika Okada.
Yeah, I know. Like I'm not that hyped for this match, but I get it could be good. So I'm gonna go with a 7 for this match. I'm just, you know,
Okay. I mean, I'm sure the match will be fine. My hype level is 6. Okada's
mhm.
beating White. He's getting the
Oh yeah,
title back. No
oh
one
yeah,
cares. Next,
yeah.
because at that point we'll all just be sitting there going, Osprey and Omega,
What happens?
Osprey and Omega. So yeah, I mean Okada. Yeah. Well, there you go. That is your card for Wrestle Kingdom. So
Oof.
you have some at least moderate to heavy hype on some of these matches. Can't wait to watch Karl Anderson and Tama Tonga. Yeah, that's gonna be a real
Maybe Karl
banger.
Anderson and Tama Tonga will be the only match that lives up to our hype level. Oh, that sucked.
Oh,
Well, at least that's what we thought it was gonna
yeah,
suck. So
exactly. Look, it lived exactly where our hype was. Yep. Okay. Speaking of Will Ospreay, he defeated Tomohiro Ishii at Rev Pro Uprising this weekend, but I have not
okay.
yet seen the match. But he did return to Rev Pro. It was kind of on an emergency basis because there was an injury and he needed to fill in, and he said he hadn't planned on going to Rev Pro until February. But he's like, they call, I got to answer, so he
Yeah.
went. So there you go. So that ends my New Japan report, which of course means we are on to Stardom. I will not put up your hype level for their December 29th event because I'm sure your hype will be are these people.
Who?
Yeah,
Huh?
but I'm going to quickly run through the card.
Okay.
We do have this is their December 29th Dream Queendom 2022. We have Cosmic Angels, Unagi Sayaka and Mina Shirakawa taking on Donna Del Mundo, Mai Sakurai, and Tekla. I am looking forward to that match. I am hopeful that Donna Del Mundo basically just wipes the floor with the Cosmic Angels. But this is Mina Shirakawa's return match from when she got hit in the face by the
Oh yeah,
Phoenix Splash
the
from
flip.
Saya
Yeah.
Kamatani. She's right now appearing at press conferences wrapped up in bandages. like with her face, like she's like the Invisible Man or something, with her face wrapped up in bandages. So it's pretty funny.
It's like, wait, didn't you break your nose?
Yep.
Or it was her teeth, or his teeth.
It was her
Why
teeth. Yeah.
is your eyes
I
bandaged
don't know.
up?
Her whole face is bandaged up. It's pretty funny. Um, then we have the Stars Inter Squad Trios match, which is Mayu Iwatani, Momo Kogo, and Hanan taking on Hazuki, Koguma, and Saya Iida. Um, this is interesting because Momo Kogo has had kind of a thing going on right now where she is trying to win Mayu Iwatani's approval more because she keeps losing matches or getting beaten, and Maya keeps telling her she needs to try harder. And she was also mad at her for like trying to convince Saki Kashima, which I think I mentioned this match last week, to come kind of back to Stars because she once betrayed them and she was doing some dance thing and trying to get her attention. And Maya got really mad and kicked her own partner after the match a couple of times because she was mad at her. That's the way you lead a squad. Anyway, so this match could be very interesting because Hazuki, Koguma, and Saya Iida are three of the better members of Stars, and they're taking on Mayu and two of the not so good members of Stars. So there's the Goddess of Stardom #1 contenders match with the new eras, Mirai and Amy Sarai versus Maihime, Maika and Himeka, and BMI 2000, Natsuko Tora and Ruaka. This is basically taking the three other top placing teams in the recent tournament, and they're going up against each other for the next match for the belts.
Oh, got it.
I
Okay.
expect Maika and Himeka to win this one because they were actually the favors before the tournament to win the tournament, and it's kind of their time, but we'll see what happens. Then we have Utami Hayashishita versus Kairi. That should be good. It's not for the title or anything like that. It is just a straight up one-on-one match, and I would really like to see Utami beat her. That would be pretty
Okay.
great. Now, this is where we get into a series of matches where Stardom is defending their belts against outsiders.
Mm.
So the first one is Azumi, the champion, taking on Hikari Shimizu, my bad, for the high speed championship. This should be great. It's going to be 15 minutes or less of high speed
Okay.
action. Your kind of stuff.
Nice.
Azumi Oedo Tai for the this is for the Artist of Stardom Trios Championship. So Oedo Tai, Starlight Kid, Momo Watanabe, and Saki Kashima is taking on Prominence, another outside group with Riza Sara, Hiragi Kurumi, and Suzu Suzuki, who you've heard me talk about before. She's extremely good. I'm looking forward to this match. Starlight Kid is just something else, and like all the women in this match are quite good. So this should be a great match. Meltier, Tom Nakano, and Natsupoi, champions, taking on 7-Up, the winners of the tournament from that I talked about last week, Nanai Takahashi, and you for the Goddess of Stardom Championship. Not you, Krishna. You.
So me.
No, you're not.
Okay.
You're
All
not
right.
going to be taking on
Then me.
Meltier for the championship.
I'm taking on Meltear. Cool.
Natsupoi would kick your ass.
Are
I'm just saying.
you sure about that? Like I have the height
Yeah,
advantage and possibly the weight advantage too. So
you
I
do.
mean, no.
You've
Unless she
never
like
you.
just like kicks me in the nuts, then it's over. Then I'm just done. I'm just done right away. Or she just punches me out. She just knocked me out. Maybe that's
She would
it
kick
off.
you in multiple places. Anyway.
Yeah, those insecurities I wouldn't see coming. Just
No, the
yeah.
insecurities and a bunch of other moves. Especially, she's one of those people who can do like the no hand cartwheels through the air.
Oh
So,
damn. Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Then we have Saya Kamitani taking on the champion, taking on Haruka Yumisaki for the Wonder of Stardom Championship, also known as the White Belt. Should be a great match. I really hope to see Saya bust out the Phoenix Splash again. She's been reluctant to use it since then. There's a story
Since then,
behind
yeah,
it now.
yeah,
She's
yeah.
been finishing people off with the Firebird Splash, which is a 450. But it'd
Okay.
be really interesting to see if she feels like she has the need to go for the Phoenix Splash in this match. So. And then finally, we have Shuri taking on Julia for the World of Stardom Championship. This is going to be insane in the membrane. So I cannot wait to see this match. My hype level for this one is not quite Kenny Osprey level, but it's very, very high. I cannot wait to see this match. I think it's Julia's time. This will be her first reign as the World of Stardom champion. We'll see what happens. I did want to highlight one match this week at the December 10th Osaka card. Tekla took on Starlight Kid. This was your style of match because these are two very fast, very high speed style wrestlers. This match started out fast too. Solid high speed exchange between the two of them. Starlight goes for the first pin with a standing moonsault. She chokes Tekla on the ropes, only to get trapped in a leg bar and then a Muta lock. The good thing about both these two as well is they know a ton of holds, and it's great watching it mixed in with all the other stuff. But of course, Starlight Kid, being part of Oedo Tai, bites her way out of the Muta lock. So Tekla is kind of nuts, and she goes for the eyes, right? Like picture like a kind of she's the spider. She's very she's a little crazy and acts like it, and it's pretty cool. Anyway, so Kid got mad. They end up in a forearm exchange. The Kid wins on a run. She lands a double knee on Tekla's back, a tiger feint kick, and then a 180 splash for two. That was pretty awesome. She goes for a black tiger driver, which is her big finisher, but Tekla reverses it, spearing her. She locks on a death trap choke, but Starlight Kid jackknifes out of it for a two. Tekla lands two roundhouse kicks to Starlight Kid's head, but only gets a two on the pin. Then she repeatedly kicks Starlight Kid some more, but on a run, Starlight Kid actually catches her, tries for another Black Tiger driver, but Tekla rolls her up into a jackknife bridge. But Starlight Kid reverses it and gets the three on
Oh,
a
okay.
roll up. Yeah, it was a really cool finish. After the match, Tekla went right. She was pissed. These two have a rivalry that goes back for a bit. She was pissed losing to her. So she went right after her, locks her in another death trap choke until Momo Watanabe came in the ring. You know, they always travel with their people, right? So she came in the ring with the bat and just started wailing on Tekla with it. And she has that awesome bat that she like connects with it, right? Like I said, I want to know what this bat's made out of. It's the most awesome bat ever because she can actually use it and it looks vicious. Um, and then Donna Del Mondo and Oedo Tai go at it briefly. And then you get this moment right at the end where Tekla and Starlight Kid are like crawling across the ring, staring at each other, and they're just like glaring, right? And you just know this isn't over yet.
It's
So
not the
that's
end,
good
yeah.
because I'll sign me up for any Tekla Starlight Kid match. I would have given this one 3.75 stars. The wrestling was outstanding in my mind. It was like I love their rivalry. A little short for my taste, perhaps,
Mhm.
but otherwise it was extremely good. So that is my excursion report for this week.
Awesome. Sounds
Yes,
like a good time in Japan.
I always have a good time in Japan. So this brings us to our match of the week. Krishna.
Well, I mean, for me, it was obvious what the match was going to be, and there was a match that rivaled it a bit, the Sammy and Mox match. But come on, match of the week is the Death Triangle versus the Elite. Was it ever in question that was going to be my match of the week? No. So the
No,
match of the
no,
week was
no, because look, I admire the fact that you know who you are when it comes to wrestling,
that's right.
right?
That is right.
Yep. You like your spot fests, you like your elite, you know. So yes. I did not pick that as my match of the week.
Ooh. Okay,
Yes,
what'd you
and
pick?
I did not pick Mox and Sammy either. I picked Chris Jericho and Action Andretti.
Oh, okay,
And the
okay.
reason I picked this match is because of what it did and the story it told. To me,
Cool. Yeah.
this was an amazing story. And I mean, shout out to the crowd there too, because without that crowd, that
Mm-hmm.
match wouldn't have been as good.
Yeah.
But in all honesty, watching the way they built that match, starting off with Jericho just being an arrogant son of a bitch, barely doing any moves to him, can't put him away easily, escalates, and then he kicks out of the code breaker. And like the crowd is just going nuts. Jericho's in shock. He ramps it up. I mean, the story in this match was just amazing. And he
Yeah, it's great.
can't put the kid away. And then the kid pins him, the pin that was heard around the
Around the
world.
world. Agreed.
So yeah, this match to me, this is what I love about wrestling. Is this going to be a spot fest? No. It was solidly wrestled and there were some good spots in it, but the story here
It's
was just
fantastic.
out of sight. You
Yeah.
made a star out of
Out
a
of
kid.
action. Yep,
Yep,
action and ready.
exactly. And I mean, Jericho, just his storytelling is just superlative here. It's just so good. So yeah, this was my match of the week.
Oh, awesome. Oh,
Yep.
it was a good match. I must say, the shocker of the week. It has to be there.
Yeah, I like my emotion in my wrestling. So
Fair enough.
I mean, look, very close second. Death Triangle versus
Yeah.
the Elite. Don't get me wrong. I had to sit there and think about the two back and forth for a bit, but yeah. And that brings us to our wrestler of the week.
So I'm not going to give Wrestler of the Week to any of the elites or the Death Triangle. I'm actually giving Wrestler of the Week to my buddy Sammy Guevara because again, this guy it doesn't matter how much the crowd hates him, he is undeniable. And he is absolutely amazing. And that match against Moxley, again, it was one of those Moxley matches. I'm like, wait, John Moxley can do these things. Like, why isn't he doing this more often? But yeah, so I love that match. And again, Sammy he's absolutely nuts. So I have to give him a wrestler of the week.
Yeah, no, that's a really good choice. And I'm your point you made about Moxley is an interesting one because part of wrestling storytelling too is that good wrestlers have different levels of moves,
Hmm.
right? Like you see this in Stardom a lot, you see it in New Japan, you see it in AEW with the good guys, right? Most wrestlers have a move set and they do it, right? Like you got to get all your stuff in,
Yep.
right? There's that old indie thing of you got to get your hits in because you're traveling around and not everyone sees you very often, so they want to see your big moves. It's like a band traveling around; they're not
Mhm.
going to play their greatest hits. People are going to be upset. But you see Mox all the time on AEW, right? And so when you get a Moxley match, there's a sense that it depends on his opponent,
Yep.
right? What does it take to put this guy away? Right? If you can get away with not necessarily having to pull out your big cannons on him and just beat him like Jericho did with Action Andretti,
Hmm.
well, yeah, you'll beat him. You saw that really effectively in the Jericho match. He doesn't
Yep.
start pulling like he doesn't even go for the Judas effect
Nope.
early. He couldn't be bothered going for
Yep.
the Judas effect. He was going to come with the code breaker and he was going to kill him with the walls. And it wasn't until near the end he missed the Judas effect, right? So it's like he wasn't pulling out his big cannons
Nope.
until the end. But you get the same thing with Mox. When Mox is up against a tough opponent, then you see him pulling out the big guns,
Hmm.
right? And I find that very interesting. And it's usually a sign of respect to the guy they're wrestling. To like, crap, I need my
Yep.
weapons to put this guy away,
Yep.
right? So yeah, I see it a lot on Stardom too. Like you get the big wrestlers taking on some of the newer people, and they're just kind of like pushing them around, elbow shotting them. Like they're not really taking them seriously until the other person starts to do some stuff, and then they're like, oh damn. But
I
it's
gotta
also
look
kind
at.
of like a pecking order thing. Which move did the person use to pin the
Yep.
person, right? If it's like one of those middle moves, then but if they had to pull out their cannons to take them down, that's a sign, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, that's a great point about Moxley. My wrestler of the week is Chris Jericho, and again, not because he out wrestled anyone,
Yeah. Fair
but
enough.
because of that incredible facial expressions, storytelling, the way he built the match. Damn right well he called this match and set
Oh
the whole
yeah.
thing up.
Oh yeah.
It was
100%.
like his tribute to Razor Ramon and 1-2-3 Kid, except that Action Andretti got way more offense than the one
Yeah.
two three kid did in that match.
Yep.
So yeah, it was a really really good match, and Jericho deserves a huge chunk of the credit putting this kid over, all that kind of stuff. So wrestler of the week, 100%.
Can't disagree with that one. I cannot.
Okay, well, you got any parting thoughts?
No, it was a good week of wrestling. Holiday season's coming up. Let's see what's in store. And yeah, I can't wait till January 4th to watch Wrestle Kingdom 17.
Exactly. So yes, and look out. Just let all of our fans know. Look out sometime in the next week or two for our best and worst of 2022 show,
2022.
where the best will basically just be us talking about the elite,
The Elites.
and the worst will be talking about Carl Anderson. No, I have
Oh
no idea what to talk about with
god.
the worst. I have a lot of thoughts about worsts, but
Oh
I'll save
no.
those for the show. Anyway, yeah, the worst is where we get to bitch about bad wrestling for a little
Yeah.
while. So
Yep.
yeah, okay, cool. Well, on that note, as the great one always says, goodbye, everybody, and good night. Bang.
Good night, everyone.